Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar and session. This is the first and inaugural Board Audit Committee Perspectives, which is a partnership between LEAD, which is the League of East African Directors, and HLB Jim Roberts. This afternoon we will be hearing from an esteemed panel, greatly experienced in the area of board committee matters. But more importantly, we will start with an introduction about this partnership from the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of LEAD, Ms. Fiona Nabasa-Wall, who's joining us from outside the studio via Zoom. Over to you, Fiona. If Fiona is not yet ready online, then I'd like to invite our CPA Julia Sokurut from HLB Jim Roberts to just give us an overview about this partnership before I invite somebody from the leadership of LEAD. Thank you very much. CPA Julia Sokurut is joining us from outside the studio. He's also joining us via a Zoom link and should be on the screen shortly. You should be able to see him on your screen shortly. Okay, if we're having a bit of a technical glitch there, I would like to now invite opening remarks and the launch of this Perspectives program, Audit Committee Perspectives program, by Mrs. Gertrude Karogaba-Wangala, who is the chairperson of League of East African Directors. Gertrude, I also know you're joining us from elsewhere via Zoom. So over to you, Gertrude. Hopefully we can have Gertrude join us. Okay, we seem to be having a problem with the link. So if you'll allow me in the meantime, I'll have the honor and privilege of introducing our esteemed panelists that are joining us today. And I'll start with my extreme right. On my extreme right, we have our first speaker, our first panelist, Ruth Doreen. Ruth Doreen is an experienced accountant, qualified accountant, certified internal auditor. Most recently, Ruth's profile and the roles she has held. Ruth is the head of internal audit at Umeme Limited, which is a listed company, highly regulated. So she brings a lot of experience from that sector, from the energy sector, but also from the point of regulation. Ruth is the chairperson of the African Federation of Institutes of Internal Auditors. Ruth is a board member of the Institute of Internal Auditors, the Uganda chapter. Welcome, Ruth, and we are looking forward to drinking from the fountain of knowledge that you will avail us with today and give us the privilege. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you.
Next to Ruth, we have Dr. James Onyoin, who's a FCCA. Dr. James is the board member of LEAD. He's the chairman, board audit committees of ESCOM Uganda Limited, also from the energy sector. Citibank, another sector, financial services sector that is very highly regulated. He's also a board member and audit committee chair for Parliamentary Commission of Uganda and UAP Old Mutual, another entity from the financial services sector that's very regulated. Welcome, Dr. James.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to sharing in your knowledge.
I may just add that committee member for Parliamentary Commission.
Great.
Not chairperson.
Yes. Okay, great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pleasure having you here, James, and we're looking so much forward to the discussions that you're going to lead. And right next to me is Mr. Samson Sowate. He's a CPA, he's a CIA, and he's the Commissioner for Internal Audit and Forensics and Risk Advisory at the Ministry of Finance Planning and Economic Development. And he's definitely giving us a public sector approach and the view from what it sees from the public sector, arena. Welcome, our panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you. So since we're here with James, and James, you come from HLB Jim Roberts, I want to give you this opportunity before we delve into this series that have been launched today, to tell us about this partnership and give us an introduction between the partnership between LEAD and HLB Jim Roberts for this purpose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know whether the technology is still not working. I can come in?
Yes, you can. I want you to give us that introduction since we failed to get the people on Zoom.
Yes. Yeah, so first of all, I'm extremely delighted, extremely excited to be here. This is a big milestone in our partnership. I'm fortunate that I sit in both organizations. I'm co-founder and managing partner of HLB Jim Roberts, which is an accounting firm. We provide accounting services, we provide audit, tax advisory, but also we set up a specific arm which does consulting. And among the kind of things we do in consulting includes governance. And that's why HLB Jim Roberts becomes very, very interested and keen to see what is happening in the governance space. So, in partnership with the League of East African Directors, where I'm also fortunate to be a co-founder and board member, we are trying to do something quite unique and new, giving opportunity to people who are serving in boards to have a platform where they can come together, have discussions, share experiences, share knowledge, network as well. I think that's important these days. So this audit committee perspectives is really for bringing together those who are practicing, who are serving as board members, and also especially audit committee members, whether you are from the private sector like myself, or from the public sector where I used to be, but where Samson, Sawate is, or from the NGO sector. All these organizations usually have audit committees, and of course for private sector and public sector, it's even compulsory to have. The Companies Act requires that every company must have an audit committee. So why we are getting here is because at LEAD, our focus initially, because we're beginning, was looking at the board generally. But now we want to drill down into what happens in the committees. How can we empower those who are serving the committees, to use the words of Stephen Covey, how can we help them to sharpen their saw? How can we help them to become better in what they do? And this is one of the things that we think in this partnership we want to provide that opportunity for people who are serving in boards, and not only those who are serving. There are many people who are aspiring to serve in these committees. They need to know what happens there instead of being appointed a member and you have no idea where to start from. So these webinars are going to give us an opportunity where somebody, even if you are not yet serving in the board, you are going to get an idea of what is it that audit committees interest themselves in. And that will help really in raising awareness. And of course, the more we can do this and more people become aware of governance, the better for us, because then we fulfill one of the key cardinal objectives of League of East African Directors.
That's great. So drawing from this background that you have given us on this partnership, I want to leverage on the experience of Doreen coming from the energy sector and coming from the Institute, both on the at the regional level and at a country level. What would you say is the role of these internal audit committees in governance, and what's the value that they bring to the boards and the organizations and society as they serve in these roles? Over to you.
Yes, so thank you so much for asking the question, and I am particularly happy to be here and participating in this panel because I'm one of those people who is keenly interested in matters of governance, in matters of risk management, and in matters of internal control. So like James said, the audit committee is a committee of the board. And the board has a responsibility of oversight and effective risk management in organizations. So what the board does is delegate the responsibility of effective oversight over governance, risk management and control to the board audit committee. And we also very well know that the board of directors takes care of interests of shareholders. And shareholders are interested in having a return on their investment. Or better still, if we're speaking about NGO world and public sector, having service trickle down to the people. So the role of the board audit committee is to ensure that there is proper oversight within an institution, and it works very closely with external auditors who audit the financial statements and give an opinion on the affairs of any organization. But they also work very closely with internal auditors who actually oversee the governance, risk management and internal control systems within the organization. They don't stop at that. For organizations where the risk management department is not separate, they also work very closely and oversee the work of risk managers, legal practitioners, and compliance officers. So the beauty of the work that the audit committee does is that once this is all put together and everybody is doing their piece rightly, then we'll have good decision making within the organization. We'll have investor confidence within the organization, because those who are investing money in any institution or donating money or grants to any organization have the confidence that there is proper accountability for these monies that are coming through. And we'll have strong controls within the organization. We'll have operational efficiency coming through. And at the end of the day, all organizations don't do things for themselves. They do things for their customers. They put products and services on the market for the common person. So if all systems are working right, then the community benefits in terms of good service and quality of products that are brought onto the market. But also from the public sector perspective, all ministries, departments and agencies have internal auditors. And these are people who are out there looking out for the quality of the roads that are being, quality of the products and services that are being put on the market, the quality of service that we are having in hospitals and things like that. So it's a critical committee of the board, not only to organizations, to investors, but also to the common person. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. And now I want us to look at the public sector. Samson, from your viewpoint, of course we know we have the Public Financial Management Act and how it's spelled out the role of these committees in the public sector. But can you share with us what has been done to establish, these and empower these audit committees, draw legislation that was made, and how is that mandate going? How are they carrying out that mandate? How is it going post this law?
Okay, thank you, moderator. And I want first of all to position what government is doing in light of what my colleagues have submitted. Currently, the government is implementing the third national development plan. And in that plan, the goal is to increase household incomes and improve the quality of life of Ugandans. But what is critical to this goal is the assumption, which is there are about 3 assumptions, but there is one of interest for today's discussion, which is good governance. So from that point of view, governance is a resource, it's a strategic resource to us in the public sector. So we take it critically. When HLB reached us and said we needed to align, we said, wow, we are timely, and indeed this is going to be a knowledge portal for all governance practitioners in the government, because currently we have so many governance functions across the public sector. So to specifically speak for the audit committees, in 2015 we had the Public Financial Management Act, which improved the role of audit committees. Earlier on, we had one for 2003 Public Finance and Accountability Act, which was repealed following this new one, the PFM Act. The audit committees are very, very critical to us. First of all, they have helped to improve the internal audit function. Before they came in, we could find that internal auditors are reporting to the head of accounts or accountant general. And somehow you can't audit your boss. You are auditing your statements, and again you are reporting to your what? To your boss. In case there are issues that conflict in that relationship, he can evoke his powers as your supervisor and try to perhaps undermine. But of course, it's also a good, a better practice here. So they are focusing on improving the internal audit function across votes in the private or in the public sector. And in terms of what they do to equip them, first of all, they have a mandate enshrined in the law itself, but help them understand and operationalize that mandate. We did them an auditing committee charter, which spells out the authority they are supposed to use as a resource, so that they are free to speak to whoever they are supposed or they deem necessary to speak to. And we gave them a secretariat to help handle the administrative issues, setting the agenda with the chairperson, making sure they have enough stationery and all whatever it takes for them to function better. And we also ensure that they have resources, they have access to official government policy documents to get those necessary knowledges that they can use to understand the business of government, how it is going on, and find space to add value in their assignments. Actually, these two people are already members of audit committees. We tap from them. That's why I say the strategic alliance is very critical to us, and the governance right now is what we are focusing on, because we have challenges in the way programs are implemented, policies are implemented, projects are implemented, and we believe, I think one of the causes of these challenges is that we have not paid critical attention to the way public sector institutions are governed. So we want to enhance them, and I believe this series of webinars we shall be having will be a knowledge portal. Members, if they listen in, they can, based on them, and improve the way they are doing business, and in so doing effectively improving its service delivery.
Thank you for that. I think what's evident from what all the panelists are telling us today is that the landscape has been changing, both in the public sector and in the private sector. And so, James, I want you to tell us what are the factors driving this change? What's changing? What's inspiring this change that we see in this area?
Okay. Thank you very much, Eva. There are several factors, but I think the biggest one we can talk about is the technology. The changes in the technology, they are the biggest influence in the way audit committees are being run. And this actually, yes, is the biggest influence on how the committees are being run. You all remember very well when COVID set in. You all remember very well that when COVID set in, we had to work from home. For most of us who are in what is called the non-essential services, we had to work from home, and this brought a lot of challenges. You'll see that what happened is that we used to do everything in office manually. We had everything in our access in the office, but when we had to work from home, it then meant we had to have some form of connectivity between the office and the home. So most people now started using Zoom, they started using Microsoft Teams, conferencing facilities. And These kind of changes certainly affected the way, for example, even audit committees were operating. I remember in all the committees that I'm sitting, the committees went online and we started doing our business from online. So that was a very big influence, and that of course comes with so many things with it. The first one is, especially if you're in a financial institution and you're handling sensitive information, how do you secure the information that's being transmitted between your servers in the office and your home? So that in itself became a very big issue for audit committees. How do you make sure that the organization that you are leading has sufficient defenses to make sure that the hackers or the bad guys do not actually hack into the system and probably cause loss of money if it is, you know, they get access to maybe people's bank accounts or people's insurance policies and so forth. So I think
yeah, and I think that I want to sort of I want to, you know, sort of catch you there to say, of course, having seen that the times are evolving, having seen that the landscape is evolving, I want to take this opportunity now to invite Gertrude. She's now online to join us.
Thank you.
I want Gertrude to tell us about this partnership and the launch and what this means and what we should be looking forward to. Gertrude, you're welcome. It's good that we can now hear you speak or see you speak. If you could just take it away, over to you, Gertrude. For the benefit of those that are on the webinar, I will introduce Mrs. Gertrude Karugaba-Wamala again. She is the chairperson of League of East African Directors. Please, technical team, connect us to Gertrude, please. Please bear with us as we get Gertrude on. She's now ready. I think that her overview of why this series, or why these perspectives will continue to give relevance to the discussion that we are having here. And maybe James, as we wait for, maybe Doreen, as we wait for Gertrude to come on and be connected to this. I think that James, of course, has given us the governance landscape and what has been changing. Well, she's now here. Welcome Gertrude.